Bibliophiles of the Internet. My name is Adriana, and we are dangerously close to the end of 2014, so I thought it was the perfect time to do the end of the year book survey 2014 edition. This survey originated as a blog post, and I will link that in the description down below. It was created by Jamie from Perpetual Page Turner, and I also filmed last year's version of this survey, and it was so much fun to make. It was a really great way to highlight the variety of the books that I read in 2013, so I really wanted to do it again. First, we begin with the overall 2014 reading stats. The first stat is the number of books I read this year. At this point in the month, we still have a reasonable amount of days left in December to do some reading damage, but I've already surpassed my Goodreads goal of 210 books. I will insert a screenshot of my official numbers from my Goodreads account, but 210 plus books is insane to me. That is hands down the most reading I've ever done in 1 year, and I highly doubt that I will ever come close to that number again, so this is just incredible for me. The next stat is the number of rereads in 2014, and this past year I reread 13 books. And the last general reading stat is the genre you read the most from. I wouldn't so much call it a genre as I would a medium, but for me that was definitely manga. And now we proceed to the second part of this survey, which is titled Best in Books. Number 1 is the best book you read in 2014. It's a very daunting task to look back on 210 plus books and choose one that is the best of the year. But I think I can say with confidence that the standout novel of 2014 for me is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. As I'm going through my day-to-day life, I will randomly just think about the writing in this book and the characters and how much rich texture it brought to the Iliad, which is this crazy ancient text, and my mind is blown. I'm overwhelmed. I feel like it was such a privilege to read this book, and that's why I think it's the best of 2014. Number 2 is a book you were really excited about and thought you were going to love more, but you didn't. And for me, that is a recent read, which was Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. I had heard really great things about Poison Study across the board from people who I really trust, and I was really hoping that it was going to be the YA fantasy book that just blew my mind, but instead it left me more jaded and disenchanted about the subgenre than ever before, and I just can't. Number 3 is the most surprising book you read in 2014, and this can be in either a good way or a bad way. For me, that is definitely Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. Surprising and unexpected are definitely two words that I would ascribe to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, because I had no idea what to expect as that story progressed. It was insane. Number 4 is the book you pushed the most people to read, and they did, in 2014. And for me, that is easily The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider. And I'm pretty sure in the year of 2014, I referred it to more than 5 people, and they all read it, and they all loved it, so go me. Number 5 is in 3 parts, and that is the best series you started in 2014, the best sequel in 2014, and the best series ender in 2014. I can answer all 3 parts of this question with one book series, and that is the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series by LAINI Taylor. But I would also say that it's tied with Attack on Titan and Full Metal Alchemist, because yes. Number 6 is your favorite new author that you discovered in 2014. And for me, that is without a doubt Benjamin Alire's SAENZ. Number 7 is the best book from a genre that you don't typically read from, or that is really out of your comfort zone. And for me, that is a tie between The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black and the Blood of Eden trilogy by Julie Kagawa. Both of these are from the paranormal genre, and more specifically, they're both vampire books, which I swore off years ago. I'm not even joking. I made a pact with myself never to read another vampire story because they're really not for me. And while I do still stand by that general rule of thumb, I'm really happy that I gave both of these books a try because they blew my mind. 8 is the most action-packed, thrilling, unput-downable book of the year. I don't think I'm going to surprise many people by saying, without a doubt, Attack on Titan by Hajime Isayama. 9 is is a book that you read in 2014 that you are most likely to reread next year. And for me, the book I can really see myself rereading next year is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. Number 10 is your favorite cover of a book that you read in 2014. For me, this is a tie between The School for Good and Evil, A World Without Princes by Soman Chainani, and Grizz Grimley's Frankenstein. Number 11 is the most memorable character of 2014. I'm going to kind of cheat on this one and say both Roy Mustang and Riza Hawkeye because they are both two sides of the same coin and I cannot bear to separate them. 12 is the most beautifully written book that you read in 2014. This was really difficult to decide because I've read so many amazingly written books in 2014, but I definitely have to give this one to The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller again. Number 13 is the most thought-provoking or life-changing book that you read in 2014. You will probably get tired of hearing me say this, but it's definitely Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I saw so much of myself and my life in this story, and I got so much out of it while I was reading, and this also encouraged me to look for more Hispanic authors in the future. Number 14 is the book you can't believe you waited until 2014 to finally read. This is really easy. That is definitely the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series and the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. Number 15 is your favorite passage or quote from a book that you read in 2014. And again, I have to reference Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alirez SAENZ. And for me, that quote is as follows: "Words were different when they lived inside of you." Number 16 is the shortest and the longest books that you read in 2014. The shortest book that I read in 2014 was Quidditch Through the Ages, and the longest book that I read this year was The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Number 17 is the book that shocked you the most, and that is definitely the second volume of Attack on Titan by Hajime Isayama. If you are familiar with the manga series or the anime series, you know what plot twist happens in volume 2, and I'm still not over that. Number 18 is OTP of the year. You will go down with this ship. This was very difficult to choose, but I'm going to say Elisa Lucero and Her Suitor from the Girl of Fire and Thorns trilogy. Elisa actually has a lot of romantic opportunities in that series, so I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I don't want to say the name of the person who she ends up with, but that endgame couple is my life. Number 19 is your favorite non-romantic relationship of the year. And without a doubt, that is Edward and Alphonse Elric from the Full Metal Alchemist series by Hiromu Arakawa. These two characters are brothers, and the strength of their bond and how much they love one another just destroys me on a daily basis. Number 20 is your favorite book in 2014 that you read from an author that you've read previously. I have two answers for this, and the first one is the Mediator series by Meg Cabot, and my second answer is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. Number 21 is the best book that you read in 2014 based solely on the recommendation of someone else or peer pressure. And for me, that was definitely Cucumber Quest by Gigi Digi. One of my really good friends from school is absolutely obsessed with this web comic, and he pushed me to read it, and I'm really glad that he did because I absolutely love it. 22 is your newest fictional crush from a book that you read in 2014. This is going to be one of the more interesting answers in this video because it's a character from a series that I really didn't enjoy, but I have such a crush on him, and it's gonna be such an unpopular opinion. And that character is Mal Orestev from the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. He was what made this series worthwhile for me, and I know a lot of people don't feel that way, but I love him. Number 23 is the best 2014 debut that you read. This is a tie between Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng and The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. Number 24 is the best world building or the most vivid setting that you read in 2014. And all I'm going to say is Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. Number 25 is a book that put a smile on your face or was the most fun to read. And for me, that is any one of Morgan Matson's books, but especially Since You've Been Gone, I was smiling throughout the entire book. Number 26 is the book that made you cry or nearly cry in 2014. I have 3 answers for this question, and 2 of them are written by the same author. And the first one is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and the second one is Last Night I Sang to the Monster, both of those being by Benjamin ALIRE SAENZ. And the last one is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness and Siobhan Dowd. I lied, I have 4 answers. I just remembered Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. I was so gone by the end of that book. Number 27 is the hidden gem of the year. And for me, that is Nothing Can Possibly Go Wrong by Faith Erin Hicks and Prudence Shen. Number 28 is the book that crushed your soul. At this point, I don't think anyone will be surprised if I say The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, because Number 29 is the most unique book that you read in 2014. And for this, I'm going to count my rereads and say The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster, because that will always be one of the most unique books that I've ever read. I've never read anything like it, and I highly doubt that I ever will, because it is truly, truly unique. Number 30 is the book that made you the most mad in 2014, and this doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't like it. For me, that is definitely The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. This is a 5-star book for me. It is amazing, one of the best things that I read all year, one of the best books I've ever read, and it made me so mad at the perfection of Margaret Atwood's writing, but it also instigated the social outrage that you're supposed to feel when you read this book, because it's a very extreme speculative fiction dystopian story, and rereading this book really angered me and reminded me of why we need feminism now more than ever. And the last portion of this survey is called Looking Ahead. Number 1 is one book that you did not get to in 2014, but it will be your top priority in 2015. And for me, that is Ancillary Sword by Ann Leckie, which is the sequel to Ancillary Justice. Number 2 is the book you are most anticipating in 2015, and this does not count debuts. This is a tie between 2 books I have been very highly anticipating all year long, and the first one is The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. And the second book is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, also known as Victoria Schwab. Number 3 is the 2015 debut you are most anticipating. I don't have an answer for this question because I don't really have a good history with debuts, and I really don't know of any that I'm looking forward to next year. Number 4 is a series ending or a sequel that you are most anticipating in 2015. And that is definitely the 3rd book in the School for Good and Evil series by Soman Chainani. And number 5, the final question I will be answering in this video, is what is one thing that you are looking forward to accomplishing in your reading life in 2015? I really don't have any concrete goals or certain books that I want to read in 2015, but I just want to remain the eclectic reader that I am, keep reading from every single genre, pushing my own boundaries, going out of my comfort zone, and going out of my way to read books that I wouldn't normally read. And I also want to keep expanding my opportunities as a reader and seeking out diverse authors and seeking out more Hispanic authors, because I really want to see more of myself in the books that I read in 2015. So those were all of the questions in the end of the year book survey. I hope you enjoyed reflecting with me and looking back on the highlights of this reading year, because it's been an amazing year for books. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the flip side of the page. Bye.